Greetings, Arkansas Annual Conference. I'm your Bishop, Laura Merrill. Since last May, we've been living into decisions made by our General Conference, which included the approval of several amendments to our Constitution. This kind of change to our Book of Discipline must be ratified by a 2/3 aggregate vote of the members of all the annual conferences in our connection across the world. Members of the Arkansas Conference will be voting on these amendments at our conference session in June in Hot Springs. There are 4 amendments, and each one will require a vote. You can find detailed information on these online at resourceumc.org, but here I'll just give you a brief overview. The first amendment would change our organizational structure to one called regionalization. The U.S. would become a region, as would current central conferences in other parts of the world. Each region would then be allowed to make decisions to best enable their ministry in their specific setting. The regionalization plan was developed collaboratively by United Methodists from many different countries, and it would result in 9 regions, 8 regions covering Africa, Europe, and the Philippines, and 1 in the United States. The next amendment simply clarifies the fact that membership and participation in ministry and the sacraments of our church are open to all people, without regard to race, gender, ability, color, national origin, status, or economic condition. It's just that simple. The third amendment states an explicit acknowledgement of racism and a commitment to active anti-racism efforts at this particular time in the history of our church and our country and the world. This amendment promotes a vision of the United Methodist Church as a community that actively leads and works to root out injustice. It emphasizes the need for unity and healing within the church and the world, encouraging members to engage in dialogue and the ministry of reconciliation with which Christ has entrusted us. Finally, the 4th amendment we will vote on ensures that persons voting for clergy delegates have met the denominational standards for theological education. It clarifies the meaning of a Master of Divinity degree and specifies qualifying theological schools and their equivalents. This amendment will bring greater clarity and consistency to the voting process for clergy delegates. A final word is that voting on amendments to our Constitution requires an aggregate count across the church. What that means is that we won't be announcing the number of votes tallied for yes or no on each of the ballots here in Arkansas. Instead, those totals will be added to the annual conference totals collected worldwide. So each person's vote counts the same, whether it's taken here or in the Philippines or in the Democratic Republic of Congo. We won't announce what the vote was here to allow all our annual conferences time and space to vote independently. Then the results of that aggregate vote will be announced in the fall. To help the voting members of our annual conference prepare for all of this, we'll be offering 2 webinars in May for information and conversation. On May 6th at 6 p.m., we will consider Amendments 2, 3, and 4. And on May 13th at 6 p.m., we'll discuss the Regionalization Amendment. Facilitators will be our annual conference secretary, Reverend Latoya Shepard, and the lay and clergy chairs of our conference delegation, Ms. Karen Mann and Reverend Mark Norman. I'll be there too. If you're a voting member of the conference, I look forward to seeing you on the webinars. For everyone else, I covet your prayers for our church. These decisions about the way we structure ourselves to do our work are important because at their best, they will free us and encourage us to live out our ministry in bold, impactful ways, alongside the neighbors God has called us to love. The importance of all of this is about getting to that. I give thanks to God for your faithfulness and for all you do in the service of Jesus Christ.